All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. My name's Blake, and welcome back to Blake's Takes. So, piggybacking off of last episode, where I wanted to give my overall thoughts about the show Loki, I also, watched other videos and saw a few rankings of the episodes. So, I wanted to give my own list and rankings of the episodes from the show Loki, and see if you agree. If you don't agree, let me know. Comment. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button and like if you agree with my list. So first, we're gonna go with number 6, and that's gonna be episode 3, called Lamentis. In this episode, we see Loki and Sylvie kind of have their own side mission on a planet that is going to destruct and blow up. And all the episodes in the show, first of all, I enjoy it, and I did think they were necessary. In this episode in particular, we got to see the relationship grow between Sylvie and Loki, which I thought was important when we came to the end of the finale around episode 6 and even the previous one, episode 5. So I thought that was important to see that relationship grow. And that is also when she reveals to Loki that all of the people that work at the TVA, they aren't who they are. They're all variants, and they have their memories erased. That was really an important thing that we find out for this story. So again, I thought, it was a necessary episode, but not as exciting or as interesting as some of the other episodes. So at number 5, we have episode 5, Journey into Mystery. And in this episode, we see Loki run into other versions of himself. We have classic Loki, kid Loki, alligator Loki, a bunch of different Lokis. And we see them have this, journey into trying to get past the Goliath, which is the protector of the void and protecting people from getting past the void to the end of time. As we find out, Kang the Conqueror, obviously he weaponized this Goliath to protect them and so that no one can get to him. Obviously it's all planned out though, as they do get to him. But again, I enjoyed this episode. I thought we had some great moments from classic Loki. I really enjoyed the dialogue that they had all together at the little hut that they were at to rest up before taking on this Goliath. We had another good emotional moment between Loki and Sylvie, and really just makes you want to root for them and have them make it together in the end. But yeah, it was really fun to see all these different Lokis interact with each other. You had a lot of fun Easter eggs thrown in there with Thor's hammer and Frog Thor in that little jar as they're going down into the base. So overall, just a fun episode. At number 4, we have episode 2, Variant, and in this episode is when we really get to see Mobius and Loki kind of form that relationship, almost like a buddy cop episode where they're both being detectives and trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and why this other variant, the other version of Loki, is trying to pull these moves, or where she's hiding. And so they're just going through all these clues together and sharing laughs together as well. So it was really great to see that relationship bond, and as well, see that on-screen chemistry that Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston had together. This is also when we see Sylvie for the first time in the Rexon shopping mall, where she's hiding in 2077 in Alabama, I believe, where a hurricane's happening, and this is where she's planting all the different time erasers, time bombs, to really blow up a nexus into the timeline. That was a good episode as well. We got to see how her powers worked, how she enchants people. We also see a little more of Ravonna's and Mobius relationship with each other, as they discuss what the plan is with the variant Loki. Coming in at number 3, we have episode 6, For All Time, Always. That is the finale in this show, and the moment we've all been waiting for. Marvel didn't trick us this time. They gave us the villain that we were all expecting with Kang the Conqueror. But, a lot of explanation in this episode of, what his plan was this whole time, and, the reasoning of why this timeline needs to be in check, and how there's, different versions of him out there that are much more evil. So after, Sylvie kills him, we are obviously going to see a much worse version, or probably a bunch of worse versions of Kang the Conqueror, and just complete chaos in the multiverse as we see 63 branches, 63 nexuses break out in the timeline. It's just going to be absolutely insane. Another great character building moment for Loki to lead into season 2 as we see Sylvie betray him. Loki is so invested in their relationship together. He wants to finish this mission together with her. He wants to, figure out the future together with her. And she cannot change for him. She needs this for her. She's been planning this her whole life. And that is ultimately what she chooses. And we really see Loki feeling betrayed in this, and really the first time that we see Loki so invested into a relationship and gets just absolutely crushed, because we never had a love story in Loki's character arc. So it was really enjoyable to see that love story and relationship build up with Sylvie, and then it is just absolutely crushed. And man, that episode, it just opens up the floodgates. I thought they did a great job of explaining everything and why everything is the way that it needs to be. But yeah, not a lot of action in that finale, but honestly, it didn't really need it. I mean, there was just so much to learn and so much explanation that needed to happen, and the dialogue was great in it. So I honestly don't even think it needed that much action, to be honest. Coming in at number 2, we have episode 4, the Nexus event. And with this episode, Loki and Sylvie return to the TVA after they are on that planet that is going to blow up. But when they have a moment with each other, they created a Nexus event, and a branch popped out, and that the TVA was like, I think they're there. And so they open up a time portal for them, and they walk through it back into the TVA. They are both arrested, obviously, but we get to see more of Mobius and Loki's relationship as well in that. But in this time, Mobius is feeling really betrayed about Loki, and Loki is trying to tell Mobius about what the TVA really is. And you can tell on the facial expressions of Mobius that he believes this, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want Loki to know it, so he tries to play it off. So yeah, and Hunter B-15, her brain is really on a roll as she, is enchanted by, not really enchanted, but Sylvie makes her see something that really makes her question the existence of the TVA and what they do there. And we see Hunter B-15 go off secretly with Sylvie, and she's like, explain this shit to me. I need to know now, because it keeps fucking with my mind. So you need to explain this now to me. And Sylvie does explain to it, and this is really where we see the turn for Hunter B-15 and her character as well. This is also where the big plot twist happens, as they are taken, Loki and Sylvie are taken down below. I believe they go down, but they are taken to the timekeepers, and we see the 3 timekeepers in their, dungeon lair, whatever. It was a little fishy to begin with, because you're like, damn, these timekeepers are kind of tiny. Like, I thought they would be bigger. And this is when we find out that the 3 timekeepers that they have been worshiping this whole time are fake. Sylvie throws a sword at one of them, and one of their mechanical head just falls off, and a bunch of wires hanging out. And this just puts the whole TVA into questioning, and all the characters there like, man, what the fuck? In this episode, Mobius, he does a little investigating on his own, and he steals Judge Ravana's time traveling thing, and looks up a video of the interview with one of the hunters that got enchanted, and she's seen the light, but they don't want everyone else finding out what she knows. So Judge Ravana tells Mobius that her brain is completely washed, she can't even speak, and Mobius does some investigating on his own, and now he really believes Loki. And as he's talking, he goes back into the room that Loki is held, and he tells him, Loki, basically, I believe you, let's do this shit, what's the next step? This whole thing that we think is our life is all fake. So as Loki and Mobius are trying to exit the room to try to get the plan rolling, Judge Ravonna walks in with other hunters, and Mobius just starts spilling. He's like, where I'd like to go? I'd like to go to a lifetime where I maybe had a family, or I maybe had a jet ski, blah, blah, blah. You would think, because they had a close relationship with each other, that they wouldn't prune him, but they do prune him. And the pure, sadness and grief on Loki's face right away just shows you, like, man, he really did care about him. Thank God he was okay, because I would have been so pissed if they killed him off, because, man, I loved Owen Wilson as Mobius in this show. So just a lot of great character moments in this episode. Big plot twist with the timekeepers and how they were fake. So now the whole TVA is in destruction, and a pivotal episode into really, putting pieces together to this puzzle. At number 1, we have episode 1, The Glorious Purpose. I don't know if people will agree on me with this, but man, I watched this episode 3 times. I'm not kidding. I watched this episode 3 times before the second episode came out. It was such a great episode to get you hooked onto the show. I mean, right away with the set design, with the music, with the acting, and how we see Loki, watching his life and showing the emotions that he's feeling of seeing the loved ones that actually do care about him, because he knows that's all he has. Right away, right off the bat, Mobius and Loki, Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston had great chemistry together. First glimpse of the TVA, the view of the TVA, just absolutely amazing. The episode is called Glorious Purpose, and the song on the score called Glorious Purpose that plays over when Loki is watching himself and his life, and how Thanos kills him, and just that song over that moment, it was just so beautiful. I mean, the whole score throughout the whole show was great, but man, episode 1, it really just gets you hooked right away. I could probably watch that episode a few more times. I'm definitely gonna watch the show another time, because the whole show was great. I thought it's the best thing that the MCU has put together. So let me know what your rankings of the episodes would be for the show Loki. Let me know if you agree. If you enjoyed my list, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe as well. And I'll see you next time on Blake's Takes.